Hey there, YouTube yahoos, Facebook friends, Instagram invalids. It's your boy, Sean Thomas Ronan O'Brien, a.k.a. Sean O'Boogie, a.k.a. Seanage, a.k.a. SOB, a.k.a. Roman Candle Robber. They go on. Anyway, we're not here to discuss that. I'm outside. It's about 3:40 a.m. I'm on my break. I work at a psychiatric hospital. And, it is, I have a long history of working in the substance use disorder field. I kind of stepped away from that for a little while, burnout, my own mental health issues, compassion fatigue, all that good stuff. So before re-entering the substance use disorder field, I said, let me go over to mental health for a little while. I've always wanted to work in a hospital, do shift work. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working like 12 hours, nights, 4 nights in a row, sometimes 5, and then 3 nights off, whatever. So, in the world of recovery, you're going to hear, if you're familiar with any of that, like SUD recovery, right? You're going to hear, hang out with the winners, that person is sick, some are sicker than others, right? And what's meant by that, and is, yes, some people are still sick, and if you hang out with them, that's what's going to happen. The old adage, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are type of deal, right? Over here in the mental health, I wouldn't say I'm in the mental health field. I'm in the entrance, the beginning of a mental health assessment where people are really at their worst, right? So you want to come with the utmost compassion, the utmost grace, the utmost mercy, just as understanding as possible. And I would say, takes a lot of work, or it takes a certain person, right, to go into that type of environment and be successful. It also takes a lot of work to keep yourself well, right? Especially if you have SUD and mental health in your history, right? I've gotten away from the some are sicker than others, or that person has, this specific illness and that's what's happening. I've really gotten into the whole idea of, as a musician, this is very, I've always been into it, but I've really gotten into it. The whole idea of vibration, frequency, right? So I look to keep my frequency at high levels, right? Vibrate at a high level, all that woo-woo stuff. And again, that works well with me because I'm a musician, right? I remember struggling as a 15-year-old to tune my bass, right? I just couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear the whoa, 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 whoa. When it stops wobbling, it's in tune, right? I just couldn't hear it, right? Then one day I had my palm on the back of the neck, the wood neck, right? And I could feel the vibration. Sorry about that. That was maybe the Holy Ghost talking to us. Anyway, I could feel the vibration, and I felt it come I felt it stop, and I was like, wow, it's in tune, right? And that really started my whole journey into the whole idea of vibration, and everything is vibrational and all that, Hermes Trismegistus and Thoth and all that good stuff. Anyway, so I look to keep my frequency really high, right? Frequencies of love, compassion, grace, mercy, forgiveness, all that good stuff. And what I found working in the mental health hospital is it's usually not the patients that I have to worry about so much, right? Especially because there's an understanding of they're going to be operating at a low frequency on some things, and some things they just have, if you're an empath, usually they're empaths too, they have high frequencies of other areas, right? It's the employees you gotta worry about. I would say about 50% of the nurses I work with are awesome. The other 50, 70 to 80% of the behavioral health techs that I work with, really bad. Most of them come with a jailer type of mentality, right? You're in TDC or some sort of county or prison, right? It's pretty awful, right? So I've been doing my best to bring in and help like infiltrate the culture, the idea of being a coffee bean, right? If you throw a coffee bean into a pot of water, what happens to it? It affects the water. Whereas if you throw a carrot into that same pot, like the carrot is going to get soft, right? Or hot water, boiling water, the carrot's going to get soft. If you throw an egg in, the egg is going to get hard, right? A coffee bean is going to affect it, right? So be a coffee bean, all that crap. And we have this patient that came in, and my friend, good dude, nurse, he nailed it on the way out, right? Because I'm out on my break, right? I like to take breaks at like 3, 4 in the morning. It's so quiet, it's so still, I get to meditate, it's like so awesome. He says, oh man, she's super grumpy. I was like, totally, like she's an older lady, she's just like pissed at everything, gonna sue the hospital. Like, if you explain to her like, well, you're like a person that's on the indigent side and you're talking about suing a $2.17 billion company. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, so it's that type of like, she's just pissed at everything. But I always meet people with like understanding and listening and grace and mercy, right? So, but eventually you do get a little worn down and like, I don't want to say you fuck with people because I wouldn't fuck with people, but I guess you fuck with people a little bit, you know? So she's just like railing me, like telling me how terrible of a person I am and like what a shitty company and this, like everything's awful. So when she gets done, I'm like, so you're not pleased, you know? I said, no, I'm not pleased. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, what can I do, what can I do to make things better? And like, she has like a list of things, and it's just, so anyway, she finally goes to bed. I'm like, well, she tells me she's only been there for about 20 hours. She says she's been up for like 60 hours. And every time like I hear her tell something, like the time increases, right? Not respectfully to the time that's passed, but just like exponentially, right? So she wakes back up right before I'm about to take my break. And she's like, where the hell are my clothes? Because she brought clothes with her, and like the daytime staff didn't have time to inventory them, and like, so she starts hammering me, right? And I'm like, I let her get it out, and I'm like, I say, hey, you know, so sorry that's been your experience so far. May I ask you a question? You know, she just wouldn't even answer, right? So I says to her, did you ever like a really lovely black fleece, really soft, and really nice pair of designer jeans? She goes, yes, I did. I was like, awesome. Well, you know, I saw them, I washed them, I folded them, I put them back into the paper bag that they showed up in, you know, a little dig. And I put them by your bed. And she says, why the fuck didn't you tell me? And I said, well, you were sleeping. And she says something to the effect like, you should have told me. I said, well, you know, you had said like you'd been up for 60. I've been up for 72 hours. You know, I said, so you're not pleased? No, I'm not fucking pleased. She yells, unacceptable. All right, so it's just like, oh, but all you can do is really laugh and give as much grace and give as much mercy and really just enjoy it for what it is. It's just a lot of madness, right? And what I realize is true at all, man. Like, because tonight's been a hell of a night. Like, I've maintained like my frequency. I've maintained like it hasn't like gnawed at me, which is nice because I've put in an awful lot of work to become an unshakable when it comes to that stuff. So, anyway. You know, there's so many good stories from this place, especially when poor people I know, either from the community or just like other places, show up, like, you know, like, oh, the shame in their eyes when they see me walking down the hall. And it shouldn't be that way. I've been to this place as a patient, you know, like, that's why I chose to work here. Anyway, you know, out of it all, man, Mark Twain said it best. humor is mankind's greatest blessing. Anyway, they only give us a fucking half an hour break, right? Unpaid, of course, out of a 12-hour shift, and I gotta get back. All right, so take care, and this is your boy Sean Sean Thomas, Ronan O'Brien signing off, man, and be on the lookout for my memoir in March of 2026. Irish goodbyes.